morning, parents, and welcome to Facebook Live, Parent Resource Live, which is a resource for you every Wednesday at 11. We are a resource every week. If this is the first time you're watching, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We've been doing this for a few weeks now. During the school year, we were providing lesson plans for you and kind of dissecting that. And during the summer, we've been doing a little bit of summer fun. And today, we're about to do just that. So as you can see, we're a little bit different space than my office or at the Science Center. We are in my kitchen, and we are going to be doing some at-home STEM. So I was really trying to find something that you might have at your house that really doesn't require a lot of ingredients, but also is engaging to your learner in ways that you can manipulate that's not a huge mess. So today we're doing pancakes, and how do we incorporate STEM with pancakes? So more than likely you just kind of follow the instructions on the back, like if you're like me. Maybe you're a little bit more savvy and you make your own mix. Today we're not going to do that because this is all I can manage. But we have 5 different experiments going on at once. And so again, when we think about STEM, we need to really break it down. We're trying to get those 21st century skills. We're trying to have our students be critical thinkers, be creative, be problem solvers, and feel okay to fail a little bit. And so this is kind of a safe area to do that, and we are going to be doing it with pancakes. So as you can see, I have 5 different experiments going on, and I'm going to kind of show you what I did. So when we talk about chemistry, and I had to look this up because, as you know, I've told you before, I'm not a baker. I can't even do a box brownie mix, but that's okay. Science is for everyone, right? But what I did is I just manipulated certain things. So when you are baking, the chemistry of it, typically baking soda is what makes it rise because of the carbon dioxide bubbles actually lifts the base that you've created. Eggs are with like the binding with the fats. We add a little bit more consistency. Obviously sugar is sweet. And then usually flour is a base. So I'm assuming all of these things are in this pre-made mix. So that's what I started with. And then I started to manipulate a little bit. So one over here is actually just exactly how it said. We have 1/4 of a mix. I broke it down smaller than actually what it says. And then I added some water. Over here I added a little bit of milk. Over here I did the regular recipe, but just 1 egg. Over here, I got a little crazy with my experiment. First, I started with a little bit of baking powder and then a lot of baking powder. And then over here, I did baking soda. So I'm going to kind of show you what I did, but also how do we break it down. So you might not have all of these ingredients. You can try applesauce, sour cream. I'm sure you can look at a few resources, but also looking at how you can still make it edible. I'm sure with syrup, everything tastes pretty edible, but you want to make sure that you have that. So what I've done here is I created a little worksheet for myself, and what are my predictions? What is the taste, the fluffiness, the weight, and appearance of my experiment? And so I kind of evaluated that because I'm like, oh, I'm going to taste it. I'm going to be able to visibly see if it's fluffy. I decided to weigh it just because I had a food scale and I thought it was really interesting. I'm going to lower this because it's got a little smoky here and I'm not quite ready for it. But I just thought it was really interesting because after I did this experiment, I ended up weighing all of them. And like the regular recipe was 0.7, milk was 0.6, and in my mind I thought maybe milk might weigh a little bit differently than water, but interesting enough. And then what's most interesting is my egg one was pretty flat. Not very interesting, very yellow. It kind of tasted like an egg, but it was heavier than these two combined. So those are the kinds of things you can ask your student when you're done with this. But again, let's just make predictions off of that. And then on the back here is where I had my data. So I don't think I need to necessarily get into cooking the pancakes for you, but I will show you quickly just kind of the difference. I'll do 1 and 3 just so you can see just some visible things. So with this, I already have the recipe or the mix already in here, and I'm going just to add a couple 4 tablespoons, which is, these are measured for 2. Again, you're using the math component by measuring. We have 4 tablespoons here, and then an egg, and I have my egg over here. I'm going to crack it, make sure our friends wash their hands, and then you just give it a stir. But if you notice, with this mix, it's going to get very yellow, and almost to the point where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should do this or not. But it gets very yellow. The consistency is different. What I noticed with like the baking soda, it started to absorb right away, and that's why I actually got even a little bit crazier with it and added more, because then you could really see how the carbon dioxide works and how it lifted it. But here's just an example of some of the mixes that you can do. And then another one, I'll just do the regular mix just so you can see it. Pretty ordinary, a little bit runny. You can even talk about the consistency of the batter. And then the best part of this is that you get to taste it. So warning to parents, the baking soda doesn't taste very good. And the baking powder, when you add a little too much, it's not very amazing either. I think students might still eat it. Syrup covers everything, so I think we're good. But again, this is a great way, you make a comparison. The thickness of it is different, the coloring is different. What observations can you make ahead of time? So this was a quick minute of, or 5 or so, of STEM in your kitchen. But again, you can be creative with however you want. I've noticed people use applesauce. We use applesauce sometimes in our home. You can use vegetable oil. That, again, a fat in the mix does a different thing with chemistry. There's all sorts of ways to make this different. But again, I like to lay all of this out. So, and I tried them all first, my first batch. But even just looking at the difference, okay, so this is the egg one, and this is the baking powder one. I mean, just the level is just completely different. I thought it was interesting that something so small weighs almost more than all of them combined, and it's just because that egg makes it really dense. And so in my recipe, my ratios were off, and the density was a little too thick. So again, there's tons of ways you can break this down. I saw some recipes for cookies to do this and for cakes. That is just far beyond my skill set, so we started with pancakes, but I hope this was a great resource for you. So again, I would love to see your pancake creation, see how it goes, and just please go to our website at azscience.org where you can find resources for parents, for students, and for teachers, all focused around supporting you. So if there's anything you need in the meantime, I'm going to attempt to make some pancakes here in a minute. Probably not with the egg or these ones, but it should be a fun activity to do, maybe for dinner one night, to have an easy night for dinner, or even maybe doing something this weekend. Again, everything we show is designed to do whenever you want and wherever you're at. So with that, have a great day, and we will see you next week. Bye.